program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor.
All right. Hello and welcome everyone to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Ruth Ellen Sanchez and I am going to be your host for today. We are going to have a fantastic show with pharmacist Ben Fuchs, and we are going to talk about the link between nutrition and brain and your brain. And he's going to do a little bit of a deep dive into that. And then we're going to have questions. And this program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. And if somebody referred you to this program, please get back with that person because they are going to be your primary point of contact. And also, this program is for educational purposes only. The content is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA, and testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Real results may vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims for income or health. As an empowered individual, you do have choices. So that's why we're here, is to offer you some choices. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring pharmacist Ben on the screen with me if I can find him. There he is, hiding in the back. All right. How are you today, Ben?
Hey, good to see you, Ruth Ellen, and Marilyn and Albert and Mary and AJ. Where's AJ? I don't see him. So what's going on? What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to...
Yeah, I know what we're going to talk about today. I just want you to say it.
You want me to say it? Okay, you're going to explore the powerful link between nutrition and cognitive function.
Yes. My dad had dementia. I know I've told the story before, but it's appropriate. And he had it pretty severely. But when I went to visit him in the nursing home, I would bring him Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And I'd fill him up a glass and he'd drink the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and right in front of my eyes, he would just bloom, just blossom. The brain burns through more nutrients than any other part of the body. It's constantly burning through nutrients. And anytime a part of the body is very nutrient intensive, it's going to get the maximum benefits from nutrition, and that's the brain. In fact, in many ways, dementia is a brain nutritional deficiency. And you don't have to have full-blown dementia to have a brain nutritional deficiency. Werner-Korsakoff syndrome, alcoholic psychosis, attention deficit disorder, emotional issues, dyslexia. These can all be in many ways either caused by or exacerbated by nutritional deficiencies, particularly in electrical nutrients. The specifically we wanted to talk about was Parkinson's disease. I found an article last week and I sent it to AJ. AJ, you can post it if you have it. If you have it, AJ's gone dark here, and it's on Parkinson's disease and dementia. I'm sorry, Parkinson's disease and vitamin nutritional supplements. And surprise, surprise, B vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin E, all of these, at least in this study, have been shown to help improve the movement disorders that are associated with Parkinson's. There's also, by the way, a phenomenon known as Parkinson's dementia, which is one of the, along with Alzheimer's dementia and Lewy body dementia, it's one of the more common forms of brain dementias. And same idea, nutritional supplementation can go a long way towards helping with cognitive function. And the reason I thought this was important is because when we get diagnosed with health challenges, we automatically believe there's no alternative but to go the medical model. And as anybody who has Parkinson's knows, and anybody who has Alzheimer's disease knows, or any kind of dementia knows, there's nothing in the doctor's magic bag of tricks that can improve Parkinson's disease or dementias. Interestingly, I've been working with Parkinson's patients for many years, and no surprise if you've heard us speaking before, people with Parkinson's disease have long-standing digestive health issues, particularly constipation. So one of the more important things to do in addition to supplementing with Beyond Tangy Tangerine, all these vitamins, by the way, that are in the study, they're in Beyond Tangy Tangerine and in the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. So if somebody out there is wondering where they can leverage the nutrients that are highlighted in this paper for Parkinson's, Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, even just the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. But in addition, what I find great success with, and I've worked with many Parkinson's patients, is digestive support, patching up a leaky gut, food diary, eliminating problem foods. I'll talk about food diary here in a second because I had an interesting experience this week with a food diary. And then we talked about this on Monday, fecal transplants and actually fecal capsules have been used to treat Parkinson's. Fasting can help with Parkinson's disease. And also, interestingly, people who have Parkinson's disease, tremors, will typically not have tremors when they're taking a warm bath. When the body is relaxed, relaxing the muscles will also relieve Parkinson's symptoms, and activating the parasympathetic nervous system in general will activate or relieve Parkinson's symptoms, such as slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. That's really, really important for Parkinson's patients because people with Parkinson's disease tend to breathe shallow because they don't have competent respiratory muscles. They have to really work at breathing long and deep. So there's lots and lots of health strategies, ways that you can improve all cognitive health issues, from Alzheimer's dementia to movement disorders to Parkinson's disease to full-blown psychotic episodes like Werner-Korsakoff syndrome or alcoholic psychosis. One of the all-time great brain nutrients for dementia or for Parkinson's disease is vitamin B1, thiamine. And in fact, if you do have alcoholic psychosis, thiamine is the treatment of choice. And they actually give you thiamine in the drunk tank or the wherever you go to dry out. And that is literally a strategy for reversing psychosis, alcoholic psychosis. And you got to wonder how many people, thiamine is used by the body to process sugar, and under conditions of lots of high sugar intake, thiamine deficiency is common. People who eat a lot of junk food can be deficient in thiamine. You got to wonder how many people think that they have cognitive decline issues or dementia issues, or kids who have ADD issues, when all they really are experiencing is something as simple as a thiamine deficiency. And also thiamine plays a very important role in digestive health too, and that just further highlights the relationship between the digestive system and Parkinson's disease. You can use the same nutrient to treat both chronic constipation and Parkinson's. And I saw a note on one of our videos, I think it was the one we did last Monday, somebody was saying how Ben always says don't do this for that, but sometimes they'll give a long list of nutrients that are products that you use after somebody asked a question about a health challenge. I don't know if you saw that comment. So if that person is on the call today, they should know that it's true. You don't want to say take this for that. That being said, there's a lot of supplements that can be used to treat specific health challenges, not so much because they're specific health challenges, because they're health challenges. But people ask about specific questions, and then I talk about using specific nutrients. That's because those nutrients are important for overall health, not necessarily just for that specific health issue. So thiamine is important for Parkinson's, that's true, but it's also important for ADD, and it's also important for emotional problems, mood dysregulation, also for, in addition to full-blown psychosis, also just dementias, and as I said, probably Parkinson's disease or other movement disorders. And then another thing I was going to talk about, I had an interesting experience this week with a gal who did a food diary. We're always talking about food diaries. And while it sounds like a food diary would be simple, as it turns out, it's really not that simple. So I was working with this gal, young lady, she's about 26 years old, very smart, very buttoned down, very organized lady. And she had severe acne on her back and on her face. And I talked to her, and of course, as is always the case, she said, yeah, I bloat, I have gas, I have digestive problems. And I say always the case when there's severe skin problems. So I had her do a food diary. And I said, call me back in a week after you've done your food diary. So she called me back in a week. And I said, oh, well, what'd you find out? And she said, I can't find any relationships between the foods I'm eating and my breakout, or the foods I'm eating and my digestive problems. And so I was kind of surprised, because that didn't make any sense to me. I said, all right, why don't you send me the food diary? So she sent me this food diary, and she had it really done really well. It was real organized. The page was split down the middle, and on the left-hand side was all the foods she ate in blue ink. And then on the right-hand side was her digestive symptoms in red ink. And she was eating things, this goes to show you how sometimes we take for granted how little people understand about foods. She was eating beans and rice and Spam and corn and burritos and cereal and ice cream and cheese and classic trigger foods. There's other trigger foods, of course, but these were classic trigger foods. And then in red ink, she had bloating, constipation, gas, and I had a whole list of digestive symptoms. And I said to her, how you told me that you didn't notice a relationship? She says, yeah, I don't know. I didn't see a relationship. So she actually saw that she had digestive problems after she ate foods, but she didn't make the connection. And this was not a dumb person. This was a smart person. And this goes to show everybody who are helping clients, people who are working with longevity, and patients themselves, how hard it is to make connections. So if you're out there and you say to your patient or you say to your client, do a food diary, and they come back and say, oh, I have no connection, there's no relationship. Or if you ask your patient, they have digestive health issues associated with foods. Oh, no, I don't have any digestive health problems. You have to probe. You have to dig deep. In the Bible, it says, by their fruits, you will know them. And I say, where there's smoke, there's fire. If you're symptomatic, particularly skin symptoms, and somebody says, I don't have any digestive health issues, don't believe it. Not because they're lying and not because they're stupid, but because we just don't make the connections between what we're doing in our lives and how our bodies show up. But as we talked about a lot, it's deductive reasoning. If you have a circle and that circle is closed and everything operates pristinely and perfectly within that circle, and then you open the circle and introduce things into that circle, you're going to cause disturbances. The body is a finely tuned machine, and while there's adjustment mechanisms that pull the ups down and the downs up, call that homeostasis, the body is a finely tuned system that operates within very tight windows, very tight specifications. And so if you're introducing things in the body into the blood through the digestive tract that disrupt chemistry, there's no way you're not going to have some kind of symptoms, some kind of symptom. When they make computer chips, they have to wear hazmat suits, basically, where there's no way they can possibly breathe into the computer chip. And they have special HEPA filters and for computer chips, because if a piece of dust gets in the computer chip, it destroys the computer chip. The body is much the same way. When a piece of dust, something as simple as a piece of dust gets into the bloodstream, if it's not handled correctly, you're off to the disease races. And that is something that we have to come to grips with, because our food supply has been completely corrupted over the last 140, 150 years. And today's foods did not exist a century and a half ago. So there's really no way for most of us not to have disruptions at the level of the digestive system and ultimately at the level of the blood and the organs, given the kind of foods that we're all eating, even if we're eating healthy, which most of us don't. So just assume that you have a digestive health problem, particularly leaky gut, which AJ, I don't see AJ, but if you could send that, if you had that article on leaky gut and chronic disease, I sent AJ an article a couple weeks ago about written by a physician who actually went out and said all chronic diseases are associated with a leaky gut. You don't need to have a study to say that. You just have to have a little bit of biological logic to understand that. Okay? Make sense? What happened to AJ? How come I don't see him?
Well, he's here. He's in the gallery.
Oh, he's in the gallery. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm ready to take some questions if you have. And then
Okay.
if AJ, if you want to post that article, if you're listening, that'd be great. The one that I sent you on leaky gut and chronic disease.
Okay, we'll make sure to post them. And if it doesn't get posted during the show, I'll go in and post them after the show.
Okay, thank you. There's
Okay.
AJ. Hi, AJ.
And Marilyn has her hand up. So Marilyn. Oops, I accidentally hit the wrong button, Marilyn. You have to unmute yourself. Sorry.
Okay. If someone has a bad infection, doesn't really matter where it is, let's say the bladder,
Infection.
and
Okay.
their doctor has got them on antibiotics,
Yeah.
and they want them on for like, let's say 3 weeks at least.
Yeah.
Is it okay that I introduce like killer biotic effects?
Killer biotic's not going to do too much.
No.
Yes, you can definitely introduce killer biotic. You mean add it to the antibiotic?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a problem. That wouldn't be a problem at all.
What would you
what you want to do is after you do the antibiotic, you want to do probiotics, because the antibiotics will kill all the bacteria. So I'd have to know a little bit more about the patient, but generally speaking, when a patient is on antibiotics, it's a good idea to use probiotics as well. But you don't want to take them together, obviously, because the antibiotics will kill the probiotics. So if you have probiotics, if you have antibiotics, and you're taking them like every 8 hours, 3 times a day, between doses, take some probiotics. Or if you want to wait till after your 10 days are up, or however long you take them, you can take probiotics. But one way or another, you want to introduce probiotics after you take antibiotics, because you're going to kill off your good bacteria.
I was just concerned because it was going to be like 3 weeks before he was going to have some surgery to remove some kidney stones.
I think killer biotic is just basically herbs, isn't it?
It's mushroom extracts.
Oh, it's mushroom extracts. No.
And that's not going to help.
No, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to hurt anything.
Oh. Okay, the probiotics in between. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Who's
Ben?
that? Yes.
Ben?
Who's that? I don't see.
This is AJ.
Hi.
I'm sorry, but what Marilyn is not mentioning is the bigger issue is the guy's having surgery to remove kidney stones.
Well, that is a bigger issue. That's
well,
true.
He's having ultrasound.
Yeah, but he's forming stones. Okay, are they oxalate stones? What kind of stones are they? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a blood problem, and that's really the issue, is working the blood. Now, he didn't ask about that, so I don't know if you want me to answer that, but the kidneys obviously filter the blood, right? So when you have stone formation in the kidneys, what you're basically looking at is super saturated blood, and it should come as no surprise to anybody who's oxalates. Oxalates are, by the way, a waste product. And so when people and they're also found in foods. So oxalates can build up in the kidneys or in various parts of the body, actually, when your cells are producing lots of waste, when they're under duress. And so the main toxicity, or the main stressors on cells that cause it to produce a lot of waste, believe it or not, are sugar. And fructose and glucose are intimately linked to oxalates, which means diabetes. And we know that, or dysglycemia, we'll say. And we know that dysglycemia can also cause oxalates. So between dysglycemia, you probably have a likely cause of oxalates, and you have a likely cause of kidney disease, which means this is a patient who should be on the healthy blood sugar pack.
Right. Can I ask you, what do you think about potassium citrate?
It's awesome. In fact, that's one of the best treatments for oxalates. Oxalates, alkalinizing the urine is one natural way to break up kidney stones, and potassium citrate is a alkalinizing agent. So
can I get that just like
you can get anywhere?
Anywhere?
Yeah, you can get anywhere.
I just heard something about it, so excellent.
What's that?
I had just read something about it.
Yeah,
I was looking into things for this gentleman, and I heard that it actually can dissolve stones and actually prevent them from reoccurring.
Yeah, alkalinizing the urine is the strategy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. All right. And Hattie has her hand up and she has a question.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, before I ask my question, so Ben, with regards to the recent question about potassium and the stones, if you're doing an alkalizing diet, would that be efficient or no?
It might help. If you have an alkalizing diet, typically your urine will be alkaline as well.
Mm-hmm.
And raising the urinary pH is a tried and true strategy for reducing the risks of oxalate stones and inhibiting crystallization.
Ashe. So Ben, I was attempting to have a client get on, but they had a conflict with the time. But he just got diagnosed with colon cancer, vegetarian, and he has a bag now.
Oh, that's terrible.
His oncologist, no, they haven't done any surgery, anything, no chemo, no surgery. They just like, well, we'll see what happens. And he's like, well, I'm going to do it a natural way. So they say, cool, man, do whatever you want to do. So he's doing two things. He wants to take the minerals because he gets how important that is. However, and in addition to that, he wants to take on, the emotions is a big part of any disease. So he believes that his colon cancer is a product of past life.
Well, I don't know about past. Well, okay. So first of all, yes, it is a product of past life, but not past life before this life, past life, this life. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like when he was, Julius Caesar in ancient Rome. It was like when he was 5 years old or 10 years old or 15 years old. So yes, past life, but past this life. And by the way, there's no time, so there's no past life. Right? Mm-hmm. Physics, we know in physics, according to physics, time is an illusion. So past lives are an illusion. However, there are parallel lives. If you want to believe things like, there was a guy named Hugh Everett who came out with the many mansions hypothesis in physics. And he said that anything that's possible is happening everything's happening everything that could possibly happen is always happening. And that's called the many worlds hypothesis. I think he calls it, this guy Everett. His first name. But anyway, everything's happening all at once. So we can, according to the theory anyway, we can be influenced by things that are happening in parallel lives versus past lives. However, that's neither here nor there. He wants to work on his body now. It doesn't matter what's happening in a parallel or past life. He's the guy with the colon cancer. So the colon processes food. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that colon cancer rates are increasing dramatically, especially in young people, even though doctors are mystified and they can't figure out why. Between the kind of foods we eat, the chlorine in our water and the fluoride in our water, which kills the bacteria, the antibiotics in fish and meat and dairy products, there's all kinds of reasons why our colons are messed up in this life, not in parallel or past lives. And that means there's lots he can do. I-26, food diary. And it's interesting, he said that he's a vegetarian, by the way, because we have not so much people on this call probably, but as a culture, we have this idea that vegetables are kind and gentle and benign, and meat is terrible and aggressive and toxic and associated with diseases. And as it turns out, there's no meat that anybody's allergic to, but there's lots of plant materials that people can be allergic to or intolerant to. So vegetarianism is not a way to protect yourself against colon disease, as anybody who has celiac disease can tell you, which is a gluten intolerance disease, and there's no gluten in meat.
Okay, so let me ask you one other question that he's was concerned about, because but people anyway, because he believes anyway. So the vegetarian piece is like, well, how do I get colon cancer? I have a pristine diet. I don't.
No, he doesn't have. That's what I'm telling you.
I know. No. I get that. But I just want you to speak to it, because that's his mentality.
It's not that was why I said that, because I know people think that. That's the thought, is that, I'm vegetarian, I can't have any kind of disease because I only eat vegetables. No, it doesn't work that way. Vegetables don't want to be eaten. And so they protect themselves by making chemicals that punish the person who eats them. That's what gluten is. They call them lectins collectively. Lectins are plant defense molecules, and they're found in all kinds of vegetables and fruits. And also, by the way, there's another molecule called histamine that's found in so-called good foods like avocados and bananas and seafood. So, you got to go by your particular reactions. And very importantly, do you know this guy, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. So very importantly, you should ask him, does he have a history of digestive problems? People don't just get colon cancer spontaneously out of the blue. They got to have a history of something, a history of bloating, gas, discomfort. He had to have symptoms before he was diagnosed as colon cancer, and pretty dramatic ones, to have cancer, and he was just missing them. And so that just highlights the whole fact of doing a food diary, of paying attention to your body's symptoms, watching how you react to specific foods, just really being a participant in your own biochemistry. Not a participant in your own biochemistry, you're going to end up being carved up or medicated by the medical model. We have to participate in how our body responds to our lifestyle. Lifestyle, whether it's eating or sedentary or smoking or drinking, is the main reason why we break down. The so-called genetic or heredity component is a sliver compared to lifestyle, compared to how we live our lives.
Ashe. Hey, Ben, let me ask you one quick question for me.
Yes.
About histamines.
Yes.
I am seriously dealing with, glaucoma, cataracts, and my vision is really suffering. However, I'm one of these people that love avocados. I don't feel like I get a thingy, get a response to it, but I have been told that that's not a food I should eat.
Not necessarily. You got to see how you respond to it. But avocados are a high histamine food. So I'm not going to tell you your cataracts are caused by histamine, but histamine is a inflammatory molecule, and it will change fluid balance anywhere in the body. So it could be related to your eye problems. I don't know definitively. But avocados are not just, like I say, bananas, strawberries, cherries, spinach,
all the stuff. Right?
Pickled vegetables, eggplant, tomatoes, pasta, pizza, cheese. All these are high histamine foods. Chocolate, wine. Go online and look up high histamine foods, and you'll be surprised, because it'll be more than likely it'll be foods that you spend a lot of time eating. Most people do. Low histamine foods are meats are low histamine foods. Fresh fish are low histamine. Butter is low histamine. Apples, pears, blueberries, those can be low histamine. What else? Quinoa is low histamine. Lettuce, cabbage, those are low histamine foods.
Yeah, I eat them all.
Okay.
The high ones and the low ones. Okay. Ashe, thank you, dear.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Hattie. And AJ has his hand up.
And of course, the Daily with Doc hotline is ringing as we are answering questions. So hopefully there's someone else on the team who can answer this question.
Okay.
Pharmacist Ben, I'm going to ask a question for our friends Alan and Ella. Alan, you've talked with them in the past. This question is today. Alan's got a series of health challenges that he's overcoming, but he drops off to sleep a lot. And
I'm sorry, say that again. Say the first part of that again before he drops off to sleep.
So Alan's got a series of health issues that he's been trying to overcome, and including he's got a machine on the heart to help for what do they call it? Infarction, myocardial infarction. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say infraction, which is not the case.
What kind of machine did you say he has?
It's one that delivers some sort of liquid that helps with the infarction, to help
a drug. Like it delivers a drug.
Yeah, miltronone.
Oh yeah. I think didn't we talk about this on Monday?
We've talked about it in the past if it wasn't Monday, but what causes him to fall off to sleep a lot? And when he walks with a walker. He's got some fluid buildup. What can he do?
Well, the strategy for treating myocardial infarctions is to slow the heart down. The thinking is the heart works too hard. You don't want the heart to work too hard. If you have heart disease, right, and a myocardial infarction is like a heart attack, you have heart disease, the logic is slow down the heart. Well, if you slow down the heart, you're going to have less blood going to all the organs. That means you're going to have less oxygen, less nutrition, and more toxicity and less electricity. So, of course, you're going to be tired. That's how all these drugs work. That's how cardiac drugs work. Not all of them, but a lot of them work by slowing down the heart. Beta blockers, they block the beta nerves. Calcium channel blockers, they block the flow of calcium into the heart. So the thinking is, let's tell the heart to stand down. But I mean, obviously, you're going to be tired after that. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. So, if you're interacting with the medical model, you don't want to get to a point where you have to interact with the medical model. That's what we're here to help people with. Yeah, we talk to people who are sick, and that's important. But I don't want to just talk to people who are sick. I want to talk to people who are healthy so they don't get sick, or who are a little sick but don't want to get worse. Because once you have a heart attack, now you're in, don't mean to be gross about it, but you're in bed with the medical model. And that means you're going to be doing whatever they want you to do, whatever they tell you to do. And you don't want to get to that point. Once you're at that point, yeah, there's things you could do. I would be putting this guy on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack as soon as possible, and I'd be telling him to take some extra niacin, probably, extra selenium, extra ultimate EFA. I'd probably put him on the FucoidZ, probably some MSM sulfur, ultimate zinc, and CFX. There's a lot you could do with nutrition, but once you have a heart attack, that's when you have to go to the doctor. And that's really not in your interest. Even if they can save your life, and they do save lives, people have heart attacks, a lot of folks who would have been dead 30, 40, 50 years ago, they're alive. It's still not high quality of life, and you don't want to get to that point.
They're thinking about asking the doctor to get him off this drip.
The problem is his heart may not be able to, they may need to do that. I don't know the answer. Only he would know, but I can tell you this. If this guy were to start taking a lot of nutrition, that would make his drugs work more effectively, so he may not need as much drugs. And that's a really important point. I know we talk about it all the time. Nutrients will make the drugs they're taking more effective as a general rule, which will allow you to take less drug to get the same effect. And that's always in your interest.
So they should be putting their tangerine in a blender and maybe eating beets.
Beets, that's a good one. I forgot about that. Yeah, anything that helps with nitric oxide, arginine, beets, vitamin C, all of these are nitric oxide. All of these will support nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It improves perfusion or blood supply to the heart.
And okay, so in your opinion, you don't know enough to say whether
I don't know enough.
he's strong enough to get off of this.
I don't know if he's strong enough, but I can tell you he needs the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. He needs heart nutrients. And the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack is not, it's, yes, we market it for the heart, but the nutrients are going to help you with your immune system, help you with your skin, help you with your digestive system, help you with everything. That's how nutrients work. Drugs work by targeting specific parts of the body. Nutrients will help specific parts of the body, but they'll work systemically as well. They'll help the whole system.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll be back with another question after Marilyn. I'll be a gentleman today.
Okay.
You're always a gentleman. All right, Marilyn, go ahead and ask, unmute, and I will.
But I want to know your take on this. Now, I've only done this for 2 months, but the only thing I've changed.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty regular with my diet and everything.
Yeah.
I have gotten completely off of all pasteurized dairy and complete raw, everything raw. And I have taken also raw seaweed. And my energy is through the roof. It
could be a lot of things.
10 times difference.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things. It could be the nutrients in seaweed is loaded with nutrients, packed with everything, including minerals, and electrical minerals, ionic minerals. So that could be those. Also, raw dairy has enzymes in it. And it could be the enzymes that you're getting from raw dairy, or it could be the amino acids or the proteins that you're getting from raw dairy. So there's no way to know, but yes, it could definitely be related.
Have you heard this too? I read on pasteurization that there's these extracellular vesicles that actually are destroyed with the pasteurization by 60 to 90%, and they affect your immune response, the messenger RNA.
Absolutely. Everything. Pasteurization kills everything that's alive. Exosomes aren't really alive, but homogenization might have an effect on them. Yeah. Pasteurization is heat, basically. So it destroys enzymes, and then they do it so it will kill bacteria. Bacteria in milk are a big problem. Every state has a board of agriculture, an agriculture board that regulates dairy products, and every state agriculture board has something called or regulates the amount of pus that's in milk. It's called the pus count. And all milk is allowed to have a certain amount of pus cells. Where does the pus come from? From the udders. Udders get infected. Cows' udders get infected because cows are getting milked all the time, and that's a lot of stress on an udder. And so cows' udders get affected. It's one of the reasons why cows get antibiotics. And then inevitably, no matter what, there's going to be some pus in the milk, and there's allowable levels of pus in milk. So
can I say something?
Pasteurization is designed to kill bacteria. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Last Friday, Jonathan E. Moore, who's Dr. Wallach's constitutional attorney that fought with the FDA.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy.
Said that he said pasteurization and unpasteurization, there's been E. coli in unpasteurized milk, but then there's been salmonella cases, many.
In pasteurized milk?
In pasteurized milk, yes. And he says, so the FDA cannot really use that argument.
Well, the salmonella in pasteurized milk is in the milk after it's been pasteurized. The pasteurization process will kill salmonella, but salmonella can be in milk after it's pasteurized.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure that I may be wrong on that. Maybe Jonathan knows something I don't know, but I would think pasteurization would kill salmonella.
Well, and he said something. He said, like Raw Milk is a company that puts out a lot of the raw products. And he said for them to just change their label and say, you can pasteurize your own milk, but you are at risk. This is, if you're going to eat this, you could be exposed to E. coli salmonella. Right?
Wait, I'm not, say that again. I didn't understand.
Jonathan E. Moore said that they can change the label on the milk and say that more or less you are at risk if you drink this milk. It's unpasteurized, but you can pasteurize it yourself by heating it.
Yeah, that's true, but you have to heat it to a high temperature. But
yes.
What's that? I don't understand what you said about salmonella. I didn't get that.
That's what Jonathan E. Moore just said, that
I didn't understand.
He just said that there was a lot of pasteurized milk that had salmonella cases.
That could be, but the pasteurization, that would happen after it was pasteurized, I would think.
I heard what you said.
Yeah, I would think, unless I can't imagine pasteurization would not kill all bacteria because it's pretty high heat that they use. They basically boil it.
Yes. And some to 302 degrees Fahrenheit I found for like 6 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
high
that's-
heat. Yeah, they
Yeah.
destroys anything alive will be destroyed by that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. Good questions. All right. And so Mary has a question.
Hi,
And
Mary.
I will bring her on. And if you can unmute Mary, and then I'll have a question after Mary because she may be asking the one I was going to say.
Okay.
Could be. I'm
It
bringing
could
in the
be.
question.
What's up, Mary?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you? Good to see you.
Going to the beach soon. Hey, we have a question I brought in from YouTube from Olga.
Hi, Olga.
Olga wants to know, what does Pharmacist Ben think about A2 milk?
It's for people who have problems with A2 milk is a kind of milk that doesn't have the allergenic proteins. And so for people who have milk allergies, it can be good. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, but still has the same issues that you've mentioned.
No, it won't have,
already.
it's less allergenic.
Okay.
It's less allergenic. But yeah, the salmonella issues or the pasteurization, it's still pasteurized.
Right.
But it's
Right.
less allergenic for people who have milk allergies.
Okay. All right. Well, that was really the question.
Is this person have milk allergies, or what's the deal?
Olga did not say. She might put something back in YouTube, but that was one of the points she just wanted to
A2 milk
ask.
Is made with just A2, a type of protein called casein, which is milk protein. Most milk is A1 plus A2.
Right.
And A2 milk is just it just contains A2 casein, which is marketed as being less distressful on the digestive tract, less bloating and such.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'll turn that over to Ruth Ellen or AJ. Ruth Ellen.
Thank you, Mary. And that was the question I was going to ask. So thank you so much. And Marilyn, Bruce says, Marilyn, that is why we call you Fingers, because you are always going 100 miles per hour and you have a lot of energy, LOL. There you go. So AJ does have a question, so I'm going to bring him on.
Thank you.
I'll keep looking for questions, and I have another one, but we're going to let AJ go first.
All right, Pharmacist Ben. So I had a question that came in from someone that we connected with in Florida.
Was it Allie? I got to call Allie.
That was Allie.
Yeah, I owe Allie a phone call. Is Allie on the call?
Allie's not on the call.
Okay, I got to call Allie.
Her dad's got constant internal bleeding.
Where's he bleeding from? Do they know?
I'm gonna assume it's the duodenum.
Well, it's a serious problem, internal bleeding.
And they put him on some radiation.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't. You got to figure out what the bleeding, what's causing the duodenal issues. Forget the bleeding. What's causing the intestinal issues?
I based on things that you and Dr. Wallach have said in the past, I mentioned to them they might want to get some Pepto-Bismol. And I also obviously suggested, that they had to improve the stomach acid.
Duodenal bleeding is like an emergency thing.
But they keep releasing him out of the hospital. So it's like an emergency thing. But they treat him. He bleeds. His blood.
Does he have an ulcer? Does he have an ulcer?
I couldn't tell you, but he's got some sort of cancer, right? So
wait. You know he has cancer.
He's got cancer, and it's in the cheek. It's in the intestine. It's.
Okay, gotcha. So he's got cancer all over his body.
At this point, yeah.
Okay, all right. So then that means the cancer is in his circulatory system and it's metastasized.
Correct.
Spread. Okay. So, you know, that's pretty serious.
Spread since obviously some of the interventions that they've done.
Yeah, well, he's deteriorating. That's not a good thing at all. You know, there's a lot. Look, cancer is tricky because once you have cancer, it doesn't just happen. It takes a long time for cancer to develop. That means the body has been under duress, specifically cells have been under duress for a long time, with the exception of like ionizing radiation, where you get blasted with electrical energy. Cancer is just it takes a long time for it to develop, relatively long time for it to develop. That means you got to be mucking up the work severely and chronically in order for cancer to show up, especially if it's metastasized. So, you know, at this point, and for anybody who has cancer that has developed to the point where it's now metastasized, you have to be very kind to the body. That's the strategy. And kindness to the body means none of the bad stuff. And the bad stuff could be things that you think are good, like we talked about earlier. You have to see how you react. And in fact, foods in general are stressful on the body. Anything we eat will cause something called postprandial inflammation. Anything. There are people who react to lettuce, you know, but especially if you have complex foods, complex fats or complex proteins or processed fats, heavily processed proteins, you got to make absolutely sure you're eliminating those, as well as reducing your calories in general. That's the main strategy for dealing with cancer and dealing with particularly digestive cancers. Now, there are doctors who don't like the idea of reducing your calories. They think you're going to waste away. But as we've said many times, it's not a calorie issue. It's a muscle issue. And so when you reduce your calories, you can actually build muscle. The ketogenic diet and low-calorie diets are strategies that bodybuilders use to get cut up. So building muscle gaining weight is not really, you don't really necessarily want to gain fat weight. People on cancer, they're always told, or a lot of them are told, don't fast because you're getting too skinny, etc. I'm not sure I buy into that, because when you put a lot of calories in the body, you've now diverted resources to process those calories. And those are resources that you should be using to fight your cancer. And now you're using them to digest your hamburgers. So it seems like a no-brainer. You'd rather use your nutrients to fight disease than to digest your food. That means eat less food. There's also the FucoidZ. There's also vitamin C, the CFX. There's the Restart Your Life. What else? Ultimate Selenium. These all have protective effects against cancer. Ultimate Zinc. Pretty much all nutrients are going to have some protective effects against cancer, but specifically the ones we just talked about, C and zinc and selenium, and FucoidZ, and Restart Your Life, which is beta-glucan.
So you're not automatically saying, like I would have thought you would have said,
which is
that because he's got this constant internal bleeding, but there's got to be some sort of ulcerative thing going on.
Yeah, I'm assuming there is some kind of ulcerative, either a peptic ulcer or a duodenal ulcer.
Okay, so
but I assume they checked for that.
Well, I don't know if it's a language barrier. I'm not entirely sure that they feel that they've gotten good answers from their physician.
Stop eating, or eat less food, a lot less food. Not stop. You have to eat, obviously, but eat less food. Mm-hmm. And get your nutrients from supplements instead of from calories. Mm-hmm. Remember, that's one of the main benefits that we don't talk about of supplementation, is that you get nutrients without calories. Calories need work. Calories are heat. Calor means heat. So calories require work to kind of cool the body down. After you eat, the body gets hot. Calories, not necessarily hot. Actually, you can actually feel heat. Have you ever eaten a lot of food, overeaten, and you can feel kind of heat, especially sugar?
Well, without overeating, yes, you warm up. You know, that's why
you can actually feel it. Yeah, you can actually feel it. It's particularly if you eat a lot. So all of that, it puts a stress on the body. So eating less food is definitely an important strategy for GI issues, all GI issues. Anything, really. We eat too much. Everybody eats too much. I eat too much.
I eat too much.
Yeah.
You know what we're going to talk about on Monday?
Eating too much.
That's a good idea, but no.
No.
You know what we're going to talk about on Monday?
No idea.
We're going to talk about why you shouldn't get those doggone tattoos.
Oh, those tattoos, huh? That's interesting. Every kids these days. Holy cow.
Kids,
Tattoos.
adults. The kids my interns, they got tattoos here.
Everywhere. Everywhere. Tattoos are along here. This is where the lymph is.
Is that where it is?
Yeah, all the lymph is up here. You see people getting tattoos all in this area.
Dangerous stuff, man.
Thank you, AJ. And Hattie has her hand up. So Hattie, if you can unmute.
There we go. There we go. I apologize.
That's okay.
You know, I was so involved in listening to the discussion, I forgot what the heck I wanted to say. That is sinful. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. My niece. She just can't. She's in the hospital right now. They just put her on dialysis. She called me up and she says, "Listen, I don't want to go on dialysis." So we put her on the program. But
how old's your niece?
She is, man, she's going to be 60 in a couple of days.
Oh, wow. Diabetes or dysglycemia. Dysglycemia means messed up blood sugar. Diabetes is the brand name. Dysglycemia, very common in African Americans too, by the way. And there may be a relationship between vitamin D and dysglycemia. African Americans are typically going to have lower vitamin D levels than Caucasians because
there's a relationship between Church's fried chicken and
100%. Absolutely. Church's fried chicken and sweets and all of that. That is true. I'm not blaming melanin or dark skin for it, but that's one thing that's been associated with things like prostate health issues, blood pressure issues, heart disease, and diabetes. And vitamin D is vitamin D is important for every single biological function there is. And vitamin D deficiencies will likewise cause problems with every single biological function there is. So vitamin D can be helpful, first of all, and then treat her like a diabetic, healthy blood sugar pack. And also Rebecca, I don't know if AJ or if Marilyn or Ruth Ellen, if you guys have Rebecca's protocol. She has a really cool protocol she got from Doc for reversing kidney disease.
Yes, we can get that.
Yeah, you should get that. From what I hear, it works pretty darn well. I've just heard from Rebecca, but from what I heard, it's a very effective protocol.
Thank you.
Start working on it.
Thank you, Hattie.
Thank you, Hattie, very much. All right. Let me bring myself. All right. This is really good. I'm enjoying this very much.
Okay. All right.
I'm looking to see if we have any more questions. We might get you out of here a little early.
Yeah, I got tons to do. Like you do.
So I know you do. So I want to talk about thiamine for a minute.
Thiamine is, I just love that stuff.
I do too.
I'm in love with that vitamin. Vitamin B1 for those new folks. And it's also the first vitamin to be discovered. And I'm not going to tell the story again because I tell it every time almost, but it's a really, really fascinating story how thiamine was discovered.
Okay. How was it discovered? No.
No, I don't want to tell that story. I tell it every time.
So I was watching this TV show and I forget what it's called. But anyway, the main character's father, they thought he had dementia or Alzheimer's, and because he wasn't remembering things and he couldn't think clearly, and they work at some kind of it's like a camp that you could go stay at by the lake, and they sell thiamine, bottles of thiamine for people so the mosquitoes won't eat them.
Come on, seriously?
Yes, I swear. That's on the TV show. Okay, that's on the TV show.
Where did you hear that?
On the TV show.
No, where did you hear that before?
I
used to make thiamine. I used to make a thiamine cream for people when they went camping.
Perfect. I want some, please.
Yeah. Well, the problem is thiamine has sulfur in it and it breaks down and it makes your cream stink after a while. So you have to use it fresh. But yes, mosquitoes hate thiamine.
Yes.
And when you take thiamine, it comes through your sweat, and it'll keep mosquitoes from biting you. Or you can have you make your own thiamine cream for that matter. You can just break open a thiamine capsule and dissolve the powder in a cream. It dissolves right in the cream, and you can make your own. But you do have to use it fresh.
Yeah. So anyway, she was giving the product to somebody, and then she realized, because she was a doctor, oh my gosh. So they gave it to the father. And
wait a minute, is this a TV show?
It's a TV show.
Okay, got it. Okay, so they were using a thiamine pill for mosquitoes, but his heart disease improved. Did you hear?
His head, his memory. Yeah. He was very deficient because he sold it to people. Anyway, I just wanted to see that's a real thing. The mosquitoes.
Oh yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, I used to make thiamine cream for people, but anybody can make their own thiamine cream.
Cool. AJ.
Yeah, this is some interesting stuff. Bunjin on Rumble.
Yeah, hi Bunjin.
He emailed in and he says, "Hello, team from a longtime friend of the show. What causes baldness?"
What causes baldness? A lot of things cause baldness, but one of the main things is oxidation inside a follicle. Now, to the body, the hair on the head doesn't matter as much as the heart or the liver or the intestines or the lungs or the viscera inside the body. So under conditions of nutritional deficiencies, nutrients will be shunted away from the scalp and the skin, for that matter, towards the interior of the body. So you can bypass those by supplementing all your supplements. That's first of all. Second of all, there's a very important relationship between hormones and baldness. Estrogen, thyroid hormone, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, all of these hormones will play a role in how healthy your hair is. So keeping your blood sugar stable, reducing stress hormone, using progesterone cream, topical is the best way. You can also get pills if you want. And then reducing your exposure, if you're male, reducing your exposure to estrogen. If you're a woman, making sure you're metabolizing estrogen or processing estrogen correctly. Estrogen that's not processed will not only build up, but it will turn into a super estrogen form, and that can be associated with baldness as well. Or actually, I shouldn't say that. The drop in estrogen that can occur post-menopausal, after menopause, or after you have after you have a baby, that can cause baldness. Estrogen on its own, just in a vacuum, is associated with nice, beautiful hair. However, if estrogen is not processed correctly, or if you're a real high estrogen producer, eventually your thyroid will slow down, and that will cause baldness as well. Hypothyroidism, poorly functioning thyroid, will cause your hair to fall out. So there's a lot of pieces here. If you want a protocol, what I would do is focus on blood sugar, which is the major link between estrogen, testosterone, and the health of your hair, the health of your scalp. So I would be focusing on blood sugar, treating myself like a diabetic, using the healthy blood sugar pack. Ultimate EFAs will allow you to get estrogenic benefits without having to use a lot of estrogen. You can also use topical progesterone if you like. And then also anything you can do to support digestive health that will help you with your absorption of nutrients. And that's a really important point. When you have Crohn's disease or celiac disease, or for the gentleman who had that duodenal ulcer, remember, if you have an intestinal problem, you're also likely to be malabsorbing, which means now you've got another problem, which not only can make your intestinal problem worse, but can cause any other health issue. So intestinal problems are especially problematic because not only is that how toxins get into the blood, but they're also going to be associated with poor absorption of nutrients, which is going to make you less equipped to be able to handle the toxicity that's getting into your blood. So intestinal issues typically have a 1-2 punch, depending on how severe they are.
Interesting. When you started off, when you mentioned a simple answer might have been the fact that the body needs nutrients for important things, and the hair is not so important to the body, so that's one of the last things that gets the nutrients. Adrian said something identical yesterday.
Adrian Gold?
Yes, she did.
She's awesome. What did she say?
Something identical to what you just said. But what I'm getting at is, we got people like you. We got people like Ruth Ellen. We got people like Adrian Gold and Albert, Mary and Marilyn and Phyllis, of course, and all the other folks who are watching in the room and on YouTube, etc. But are we enough? Do we need more people?
Oh, heck yeah. We need an army.
The message?
We need an army, AJ.
Well, we can't just do it on our own?
We can't do it on our own. I can't do it on my own. Come on. You know, even you can't do it on your own. You're amazing. No, we need help.
Can you teach? Are we able to teach people how to do what we do?
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you suggest they do?
Sign up. Call AJ. Call AJ now. If you want to learn about health, if you want to learn about nutrition, if you want to learn how to help your friends and neighbors and loved ones get better and get healthier, if you want to learn about the longevity products, sign up. Join the longevity mission. Become a certified health coach. We have a certified health coach program, as you know, AJ and Ruth Ellen. Participate. Help change the world. You'll make money too at the same time. But even above and beyond that, help change the world in a positive way. Make that your purpose. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Hosea, 800 BC, nearly 3,000 years ago. Still happening today. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Our opinion leaders in the health field are not giving us the straight scoop because they don't know, not because they're bad people. They just don't know. But there's so much we could do. We're leaving health on the table. There's so much we could do to maintain our good health and to reverse our diseases. Nobody's telling us this. That's why these programs are so important. That's why Dr. Wallach's work is so important. That's why longevity is so important. All right, I got a bolt.
Yes, you do. Thank you
guys
so much.
Thank you. Pleasure as always. We'll see you on Monday. And bye for now.
Bye for now. Thank you. All right, that was awesome. So if I could get my co-host to come on up, we can close out the show. I do want to say that if you did want to become a certified holistic health coach, you could go to coach.dailywithdoc.com and sign up for the Institute of Holistic Health and join us, join us on this journey that we're on. Again, our phone number is 855-949-3377. If you have any questions, we'd like to talk to a certified holistic health coach or are interested in joining longevity. We would love to have people join our team for sure. Also, if you have health questions or concerns, and somebody did have a question on YouTube, but it would have required lots of questions to get the answer to your question. So if you could call the 855-949-3377, which I did post in YouTube, that would be really great. Also, did I give it? I'm going to give it again, just in case. Questions at dailywithdoc.com. And that would be really a good place to get questions answered. And also, please make sure to include your phone number because there's a lot of times that we have questions or need to talk to you. A lot of times it's because email is weird sometimes, as you all know. So this program was for educational purposes only and not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any diseases or take the place of your primary care physician. And so none of us could do this alone. So we have to have a team. And especially for this show, we need a team for Zoom and for everything. So Phyllis, who is the first person on my screen, she is out there on the different platforms, posting, disclaiming everything, and creating all kinds of stuff and putting it out there. And then she's also, her and her husband are responsible for getting Dr. Wallach on the radio. None of us would be here if it wasn't for that. So thank you so much, Phyllis. You have a special spot in my heart. And then we have Mary, who is out there also on the different platforms, bringing in questions. And she is also posting in here. So she's keeping an eye on a few things and a very important member of our team. Thank you so much for all that you do, Mary. And then we have Albert, who's in South Africa, and I missed you so much this week. We all did. He is our gatekeeper, and he lets people in the Zoom, and if somebody's doing something that's a little funky, he kicks them out. And also, he is a member of our phone team that answers the phone in the middle of the night when we are all sleeping like babies. And so thank you for all that you do, Albert. And then Marilyn, Miss Speedy Fingers, who types 100 miles an hour. Thank you for saying that, Bruce. That was really cool. And she is the best part of being in the Zoom room, besides being able to like come on and ask questions, is the information that she posts. So thank you so much for all that you do, Marilyn. And then we have AJ, who's part of our tech crew, who's the digital marketing director for our for Daily with Doc. And he does a lot of things, and he's helped encourage us to push for more. And thank you so much for all that you do, AJ. And a big shout out to Becca Dukes. We miss you, girl, and are looking forward to when you come back. And so have a beautiful weekend to everyone. Enjoy it. And, go outside if it's sunny and walk in the sun. It's gorgeous out. The flowers are blooming and the trees have full leaves. Almost all of them are full of leaves now. And just remember to be kind. Always be kind. You never know what somebody is going through. And, sometimes just a smile and a hello can change somebody's day and even save a life. There's lots of stories about that. Thank you again. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And we'll see you next week. Have a great day and a good weekend. Bye for now.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in Pathology, Naturopathic Doctor.